All righty, welcome in everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you had a great weekend. Market's falling, but that's what markets do sometimes. All right, we are welcoming with us Troy McNeil of Option Omega, and he's going to show us what his back testing software does. And it's really cool. I played with it and showed some of it to y'all. So without further ado, Troy, we'll turn it over to you.
Hey, Bobby, thanks so much for having me. What we'll do is I will share my screen real quick.
Yep, make sure I let you share it. Let's see, I'll stop sharing mine.
The old Zoom sharing thing happens.
Yeah. All right. You should be able to share now.
Okay. All right. Can you guys see my screen? All right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is Option Omega. It is a back tester that me and some friends of mine built. And the problem we had is we're all traders, and most of the back testers used end of day data. So that's great for some trades, and for some trades, it was not so great. So we built one using 5-minute data, and we're actually getting QQQ and IWM loaded in, and it'll have 1-minute data. Eventually, we'll try to get to 1-minute data, but for right now, we're gonna start with 5-minute data, and from there we will build one out. So what I was thinking today, we'll just show it off. Is these are some tests that I've run, but what we could do, Bobby, if it's all right with you, is we could just build one out that you want to run and see what we're doing with it.
Yeah, great.
Okay, so we'll start fresh, and you tell me. We'll do, right now we have SPX and SPY. I imagine we'll do some SPX right now, or SPY, or whatever you want.
Yeah, and tell everybody, because a lot of what we trade is futures, but you said that there's some difficulty making futures a part of what you can back test, right? So we need to run those back tests in something related to the future, I guess. Yeah,
futures would be killer, but it's the liquidity makes it pretty tough, and in some ways it makes it pretty unreliable because we're depending on, you know, tight liquidity for these tests. So with futures in particular, you know, some of the overnight stuff, you get some wonky fills. And when things get bad, especially like MES and things like that, you know, when you have a couple down days of like 100 points or something, things get extra crazy. So we've stuck with SPX and SPY right now just for liquidity purposes.
Okay.
Just because we want to try to have as accurate a test as we can.
Gotcha.
So
one of the things that we've been doing a lot of is like this 1-1-1 trade that we built out. So it involves a long put vertical. And let me show you, I can show you what the strikes are, or where the delta is right now. Let me move it down, see if I can figure this out one here. Because I'd run this back test kind of similar. I should have these strikes already for you. Hold on a second though.
No worries.
Move it here. So I'm filling it out in ES, but we'll kind of show you what that is. So I would say let's do it in SPY. If you can move that to SPY.
Sure thing.
And let me find where about our strikes would be. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like the delta of the long put is around a 26 delta.
Okay.
The short put, oh, and we go to the DTE that's kind of closest to 60 days.
Okay. We'll do that here.
And the short put is 23 delta.
Okay.
And then we go out and we put one way down to pay for it. And it looks like that one would be right now, we would sell a put at about a 7 delta.
That look right?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah. And then you're putting these on, are you doing this every day?
We're doing one every day, and we're taking one off every day.
Okay. So what we'll do, I'm going to start this at 100,000. And what we'll do, for the sake of it, we can let's just max it per trade right now. Let's just do one at a time.
Yeah, that's what we do. We do one, put one on, take one off.
Okay. And so right now we don't have the take one off unless you have like a max open trades, and then we'll take the oldest off for you.
Well, I can tell you what the amount of days in the trade is on average, if that makes any
Sure.
sense, to tell you how many we have. So our average days in the trade right now are 23 days. So it looks like
Okay.
we'll have 23 on before we start taking something off.
Okay, let's just do that. We'll take the oldest one off as it goes.
Okay.
And you don't have any VIX parameters or anything like that.
No.
And then you can use commissions and fees and things like that. We got all sorts of bells and whistles you can down, but for right now, just as a clean test, we'll do this. And do you have any profit target or stop loss or anything like that?
No, not really.
Okay, sounds good. That makes it easy. Let's run that. This is since 2018. We go back to 2013, but we have found that 2018, the options market just kind of took off and things are a lot different from the last 4 years than they were the last 8 years.
Troy's about to tell us that our strategy is horrible.
Yeah. Oh, it's taken a long time. It's having to think real hard about it. But yeah, it goes back. This one's going back 4 years, and we're iterating every 5 minutes. So it's a bunch of data, but we tried to make it fast enough to where as you're running these things, you can kind of iterate quickly and change some parameters and things like that as you go. But as you're running, you're basically putting a trade on every day for 4 years. So it's compiling a lot of data through the time of it.
Yeah, I think there's another thing that you could say is we normally put these on around lunchtime Eastern time, right? So we could even put in the entry time, I think is one of the things that you have, right?
Yeah, you can change the time. So you can go throughout the day because we have those 5-minute data. So you can test things where it's like, I want to do a 12-minute or a 12 p.m. spread. I want to do a 1 p.m. spread. You can test different things.
Let's see, so, we went bankrupt in 2020, it looks like.
Yeah, 2020, something happened. I don't know what happened, but 2020 got weird for a minute. And other than that, you win. Well, even with that, you win 91% of the time. And so you made 8%. That's, again, using one at a time. So you can base it on allocation. So right now we're saying, allocate 20% of the portfolio, but this actually overrides it. So we're saying, no, don't use allocation, just use one contract at a time.
Okay.
And we give you the trade log to kind of show you how that worked. So 2018, you had a bunch of losers during those first months of 2018 as Volmageddon. And then you started going on a streak for a long time. And you just kept going. During COVID, it got a little crazy, but you can just go through here and keep going. To show you, just for speed's sake, I'll put it year to date, and then we'll enter that at 12 p.m. around lunchtime.
And that is on Eastern time, the way it.
Yes, sir. Yeah, it's market time.
Okay.
So this is running it this year. So this year you've done real well so far with it. Putting it on every day, you win 98% of the time. And you didn't really have your losers really came from just us taking it off.
Okay.
So you didn't really you haven't hit any max drawdowns or anything like that.
Now I know it's different with the margining with just regular T margin with us having span margin with futures, but if you want to make a margin adjustment on that, we use up to around 35% of our buying power. Would that make a difference if we said instead of 20% we do?
Yeah, and what we'll do is we'll switch it now. We won't do max contracts.
Yeah.
We'll just use how much did you say?
35%.
35%. Okay.
Well, that says per trade though. That's
yeah.
Really,
so that's the hard part is you're allocating. Yeah. That's one per trade. You could do it maybe 5% a day.
Yeah.
Let's see what. That's the kind of nice thing about it is you can play around with it and see what the position was. You're putting these on so far out that it doesn't make much of a difference year to date so far what your allocation is. But the nice thing about it is you can go back through time. You can see, let's do the last basically 365 days, what that looked like. Let's just do, 5% at a time. Run it from there.
Yeah, I think our buying power per trade that we're using with span margin is about, I don't know, $600-700 max.
Okay. Yeah, and you're running it on ES, is that right?
MES, yeah, the micro.
MES. Okay. Yeah, so in the last year, it's still overall, even with those bad years, it's a trade that wins the vast majority of the time. It just kind of.
It looks like if we were smart enough to have some hedges in place, look like we might have a pretty good program, huh?
Man, I tell you what, if there was only someone who could come up with some sort of hedge,
There was only something out there.
Yeah, there's something out there. But the cool thing about it is we actually have, here, I'm going to save this right now. Call that the 111. And you can actually tag it so you can kind of find it later. We're going to call that Sweet Bobby. And what we just came out with this a couple of weeks ago, actually called portfolios. So now you can combine tests and see what they would have done together. So to show you that, actually, you want to build one more test out as kind of a hedge and then put the hedge with the 111 together?
Sure. So here's what I did in January of 20, whatever it was. I would go out between 60 and 150 days. You may have to help me on this. And we sell, hold on, let's see if I can find it. I do this in ES, but I guess we could do it in, let's see where let's set up the Sweet Bobby hedge here. Let me just see what it looks like.
Sure thing. Yeah, we can run it in SPY just to run those two things together, and you could do it SPX if you wanted to.
Now, let me find me some strikes here, okay? Let's see. So if we're going to,
sure thing.
You entertain everybody while I'm just sitting here looking pretty.
Oh, that's the entertainment, sir. Just watching you look pretty.
I guess so.
That's
and that's what I was talking with someone else. It's been hard to find our strikes of late on the entities. Let's see. I go here. Give me a second.
No worries. And yeah, you can change all this stuff. That we have technical indicators and we have VIX and things like that, that you can enter them on certain things where you say, I don't want to put this on if the VIX is under 15 or under 20 or something like that. And that'll definitely change your results through time, especially in 2018.
Okay, this will work. So if we're going to, let me just do this. Looks like if we sold 3 at about 60 days out of the 2 delta, and then we bought 5 almost of the same delta, but if you bought 5 of the 1 delta, so sell 3, buy 5. Now, is there a way that we could say 5 points apart, like you sell that delta put and then you go down 5 strikes?
Yes, sir. Yeah. So how you do that is we call this thing called linked legs.
Okay.
And it's for calendars or spreads. So we would say we're going to buy 5 of those.
5 of those that are,
and we're going to, because we're going down, it'll be negative.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to buy at 5 points there. And any other things, any conditions or profit target?
Okay, so we're not going to do that daily, but what if we put one of those on, say, every 30 days or something?
Okay, so what you could do there is you go down, you'd say, just for the easy, let's say the first Monday of the month.
Yeah.
We're going to do that. And as far as allocation, what would you allocate to that? I have $100,000 account. You could put, let's just keep it at 5 right now, just to see what happens. This is year to date. Let's go back and run this from, that's the last year. Yeah.
Because it did great during the COVID crash.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, let's just test the COVID crash. I didn't have enough buying power. Let's do this. Let's do the same one we did since 18. January 18 to Friday. And once we run this, there you go. That's perfect. That looks like a hedge to me, if I've ever seen a hedge.
Yeah, it kind of hurts us there at times we don't need it, but when we do need it,
Yeah.
it does what it does. Average winner 2,643.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing about it though is it didn't cost us a lot of money, did it? I mean, by keeping
no, it didn't cost much at all. And so what we'll do, just for the sake of it, and because it's a little bit of a different ratio, the margin, it has trouble figuring out the margin, so it'll do, one contract at a time. But with this one, let's just save this. Let's call this Sweet Bobby Hedge.
You're not going to sue me or anything, are you?
No, sir.
Oh.
No, sir. This is all shared and loved information between all of us. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna create a new portfolio. And so this is a little interesting because it's going to override some things. So let's.
Oh, wait a minute. Can I give you one more, Troy? One more hedge that we sometimes do?
For sure. Let's do it.
We go out in VIX. Wait a minute. Can't do VIX.
We don't have VIX right now. We just have SPY. Now we can do things based on VIX. So we could say buy a SPY based on a certain VIX.
Yeah. No. Don't worry about that. Yeah. That's just if you ever do add VIX, it'd be a nice thing to have. But that's fine. Just run these.
We were just talking about that this morning. Okay, let's see here. So I'm going to create a new portfolio, and we're going to run this. Same thing. We're going to run 2018 till Friday, and we're going to look by our Sweet Bobby stuff. We're going to put this on. We're going to put that on, and let's run those things together and see what happens.
This is nerdy stuff, Troy. Very cool.
I appreciate it. We are a bunch of nerds and we're trying to figure it out. Try to game it a little bit and see what we can find, little secrets. So it'll run that, and then once you do that, you can go back into your test. You can change some allocations and test it and just kind of build it together. But the reason we built portfolios is, you'll say in all your, no one runs one strategy without a hedge. It's everybody has two strategies, running at once. If you're trying to make any money, you've got something going other than just your main thing usually. And so we tried to build it out together to where you could see how these things are working together. Because otherwise you're going to look at that hedge and be like, well, I don't want to do that. That loses money. Well, that's not the point of the point of a hedge is to do something different, when times get bad.
Yeah. Well, I view hedging is normally you're using a little bit of your profits otherwise to, to make sure you're protected during those down times.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are we seeing here?
Yeah. So.
Well, it had a 64% drawdown. That's better than I normally do.
That's right. 60% drawdown. What we're giving you here is daily net liquidity compared to, a movement towards SPX, how you did. And then with these, you have the two strategies run together. We'll show you the strategy and you can click in it and link through. And then we'll give you a daily log of your liquidity to show you through time where you got hurt. So 2018, again, was rough. You started building it back up. You can just loop through here and just see how you did.
Well, and to be fair, if we're going to do this in SPY, I need to try to recreate this stuff in SPY instead of, the.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I know it's a little bit different. Yeah, it's a little bit different for sure. But that's kind of the fun part about it is you can kind of make some different changes real quick and see what it looked like. Because again, here, and the nice thing is you can kind of go back and look like, well, all my drawdowns are happening in 2018. And then they're also happening, just to see here, you win. You got a string of losses there in July. And then I imagine, during COVID is where the losses are going to start piling up in SPY. And so the nice thing about that is you can look at it and say, okay, well, now let's look at a hedge and see what it, you know, in a built for SPY, what it's going to do during the COVID crash, you know, when a VIX jumps, you know, X standard deviations and percentage move over time. And you start constructing it there, you know, and go from there. But that's the nice thing. And then you go right back to your normal winning ways. So it's really, you know, you can look back and say, well, that was a VIX, you know, 15 to 80 in 4 weeks. We can build around that a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's the premise of it. And, you know, I think the portfolio feature is pretty cool. You can play around stuff, add it together. You know, you can export this to CSV to do some more testing and things like that, and trimming and whatever you want to do with it. And then you can just keep adding to your portfolio more strategies. So you can put all your different strategies in if you want, and test it and go from there.
Yeah, so you could do strangles, straddles, you can do just about anything, right? I saw you got some butterflies in there.
Yeah, so we did, you know, just to test one out, we could do one in SPY this year to date. We'll pick an easy one just because the fun of it is you can select a strategy, or you can just build them your own like you did. But, you know, say we did a short call spread, a 10-day out, 25 delta short call spread this year. What did that look like? Well, you did okay. Well, now let's see what happens if we take it and we say, we want to take profit at 50%. How did we do this year? We did a lot better if we just get out quicker, you know. And it just quicker ways to iterate and things like that. And then you can kind of combine that, say, well, I wanted to be long this year, but is there a kicker I could put in to help? And I think that stuff to where you're like closer to leaps, where you could say, you know, I'm going to buy, I always want to be long SPY, so I'm going to buy 50 delta, you know, 365 days out. But I always want to be selling some, I always want to be selling something against it. So I'm going to sell like a 25 delta 30 days out. You can test that and see through time, you know, what you can do. That didn't work this year because the down move. You can also calendarize it. So you could say like, well, I want to do, I want to sell a 50 delta call 30 days out, and I want to buy 50, the same strike price 60 days out. So you can calendarize it and see what happens there. That didn't work either. So that's the fun thing about it, is you can just keep iterating pretty fast through it. And unless you're putting a trade on every day for like 8 years, it moves pretty fast. You know, if you're putting a trade on every day for 8 years, it's going to take a minute. But again, we have found that it's still pretty fast compared to anything else out there.
Very cool.
So
does anybody have any questions of Troy at all? Any questions about this option Omega? I'll be quiet.
How many millions of dollars a month is this service?
That's a great question. On the website, we got it for $100 a month or $600 a year. Sweet Bobby's got a deal for you, and I can put that in the chat. 1 second, let me find that. So this link right here gets you 50% off your first year. So it's $300 for a year or $50 per month.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, so Rusty is telling MRP had a question. Can you test zero DTE stuff, which is very popular with a lot of people? And he said that you can do that.
Sure, we can do that real quick. So say you wanted to, let's do one together. Anybody got any 0-day strategies they want to test?
Well, I tried to forget them because I couldn't go pee during the day when I was doing this.
That's right. That's right.
I had to stop. So I tried to forget all my zero DTE stuff.
That or pee and blood, but
oh my gosh.
I
was going to have a catheter installed, you know.
That's right.
Anybody got sell a low delta, put 5 delta MRP says.
A 5 delta 0 day, and then we can sell a lot. Yeah. So we'll sell a 0 day, 5 delta. Let's put that on at
And
945.
let's put this on in SPX.
SPX, sure.
Because that's what most people do with SPX. And then what MRP, how wide are you doing that? 20 wide, 5 wide, 10 wide? Because he can link the one that we buy. Urinals are $10 at the pharmacy. 20 wide, 20 wide.
Okay. So we're gonna sell this 20 wide. So that's sorry, that's a 5 delta put, a 20 wide spread there. We're gonna open it at 945. I imagine.
Now let's see, you probably need to do your margin allocation up more than 5% with that, right?
Oh yeah, you'd probably be putting on $100,000 account. What are you putting on there?
Well, 20 wide.
50%. Let's do 50% allocation. You guys go hard in the paint. Jeez Louise. So you have most time, if I remember correctly, most people aren't taking a profit target, and then they're setting a stop. So what should the stop be? 300%, 200%?
So most people do what? If I'm losing 200%, right? So that would be if I sell something for $1, I close it for $3. So show us how to do that. That's a 200%.
Yeah. So we'll do a 200% stop.
Okay.
And let's see how that looks. This is year to date. There you go. So this is where it gets a little fun to look at, to say I won 76% of the time. We had some bad losses in January. We kind of got back on track, but it never really took off too much there. You had some winners in February. You did okay in March, except for March 7th. Is that the day? I think March 7th. Yeah, I think March 7th is where it just grinded down all day. Again, you get a couple, you're going to get a string of winners. You're going to win the majority of time. You get a couple of bad days. Probably, I imagine where it stops, it sets the low in the first 2 hours and just sits there, I imagine. And then obviously last week, Thursday probably was not a great day for most everybody. So, oh, actually one thing, let me switch that real quick. I ran that wrong. I ran it. So this is an important thing. This is uses Act DTE. So if you're running like a 60-day strategy, you don't care to only get it at 60 days. You're just trying to like get close to 60 days, right? But a 0-day strategy, no, we're selling 0 day. Just find the 0-day ones.
So even though it says frequency daily, it'll know that there's only Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the back test, right?
Yeah, it's going to find your DTE, and then it's going to look and say, do you want only to find days that are 60 days out, or only days that are 0 days out, or do you want us to try to find 1 day out? Does that make sense at all?
Yeah.
So let's run that again. Okay, so it's about the same, but I noticed that at the end that it had that Thursday trade, which, so yeah, last Friday was a down day. Someone's asking if we can select the premium. Of course, with SPX going to 0-day pretty soon, every day, you're gonna have a lot more opportunities, to test it and get a lot more data. So someone's saying, can we target a premium? So you could do something like this. You could say you switch it to fixed price, and you could say, I want to sell a 0-day put, and I want to collect what, $1.50. You guys tell me. Oh, he said it. Okay, so let's say we want to sell the 60 cents, and we want to buy one that is 30 cents. So you're going to get 30 cents there. And then you can also go down here and you can play around with it. So this will try to do a realistic fill, which means sometimes you're not going to get 30 cents exactly. You can also go down here And you can say, no, I'm serious. Don't do the trade unless I get 30 cents. And we can see what that looks like here. So you won, the winning percentage was a lot more, but you won less money in that sense.
And
That makes sense.
That was 38 trades. Now, what's the max look back that we can go on this?
2013.
Can
So
you try
2000
that? It'll take a while to do it, but it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. Now, I don't think they had, when did the weeklies didn't start till what, 2016?
Yeah, something like that.
Let's just go back for time's sake to 2016 and see that 30-cent trade, what that would have done. Try to roll with it. June 2016, I think. So you've done okay. You've done okay with that. You win 76% of the time. We have this premium capture rate, so it kind of shows you collected $2 million in premium and you kept 7% of it over that time frame. Your min funds, you got down low, but overall it's been a winner. And then you can kind of see. Now, what's fun about that is you can actually run portfolios by themselves. So let's just call this 0 DTE. You can go back now into a portfolio and you could run that. You could run that with the 0 DTE. When did we say? Let's do it June of 2016 this year, or that's when the 0 day started. So we'll run that trade real quick. I'm using, actually, this one's going to be funny. This actually supersedes whatever you put in the test. So here in the portfolio, if you say, I'm going to do 50% allocation, it's going to run it at 50% allocation. So you did okay right there over time. And then you can kind of, seeing the portfolio view is nice because you can actually see it compared to SPX. So you outperformed 2016, 2017, we're pretty killer for it. Had a little drawdown in 2018, popped back up in 2019, COVID, you more or less since COVID have been, playing right along with SPX, basically. Which is interesting if you think about it, because that kind of makes sense. The fact that we've been more volatile the last 2 years, that it would actually mirror the SPX. If you're going up, you're making money. If you're going down, you're losing money. So it gives you an idea. It gives you some things to play with and to think through. And then, yeah, we built it particularly because we started as 0 day traders. And after all the heart attacks and the strokes and things, we moved on. But we still, love 0 DT to some extent. And so we built it with that in mind. And again, our goal is to get down to 1 minute data, which we think is going to be pretty eye-opening about when you're getting stopped out and things like that. So,
what's your time frame on getting the 1 minute data, do you think?
Well, so right now we're loading QQQ and IWM in, and they should, you guys are first to know. This is the secret Sweet Bobby announcement. They should be good to go this week. We'll announce it when we do, but those will be 1 minute 1 minute data, and then we'll eventually our goal is to try to convert SPX over to 1 minute data. The amount of data to build this thing, at that point with the 1 minute data, you're approaching close to 1 trillion rows of data. So it's taken a lot of work to do it, but we're getting there.
I can't imagine.
Yeah, but that's it. We're proud of it. We think it does a good job. We think it the goal for us when we're building these things, it's not to find the perfect system, because you can game this thing, like any software, you can game it to where you are a zillionaire in 3 months. The goal is for you to build confidence. So what I like to do is I'll build out a strategy and I'll just beat the crap out of it and just find out, is it going to make money in every environment? When is it not going to make money? And it just builds confidence in your trade, because especially 0 day. If you've noticed, if you get 4 0-day losers in a row, man, it's hard that next week to just strap back on and get ready for it, So that's the goal of it, is to build confidence.
And again, if somebody wanted it, it's what'd you say the deal is? They could get it for 300 for a year, right?
Yeah, 300 for a year or 50 for a month for your first year. So, and I put that link in there, and it should be in the chat up there somewhere.
Okay.
So,
and I'll
yeah.
create an Option Omega backtesting channel in our Discord if anybody wants to get it as well.
Yeah. But no, I appreciate the time. It was fun to do it with you. I think both of our kids were yelling in the background during spring break, but we were looking at some tests, and it was pretty fun. So I appreciate you having us on.
Yeah, Troy's just a regular old dude, man. He's a pastor of a church. What else? Tell us what you do, Troy.
Yeah, I'm a pastor and bivocational. So this is how we make money, is trading and writing software and stuff like that. And then I've got some kids we adopted. So we got 4 kids, and that brings on all sorts of fun things in life. So we got a full life.
Are all 4 of yours adopted?
Yep. Yeah. And I believe you have some as well, don't you?
All 5 of mine are adopted.
Yeah.
Get you one more,
yeah.
We'll be even.
Oh man, that's the goal. That's the goal of it. Yes, sir. My wife would kill me, but yes, sir. But no, yeah. So we got a 2 8-year-olds, a 10-year-old, and a 20-year-old. So
wow, that's wonderful.
But yeah, I appreciate it, man. And we're just trying to keep going. We're trying to iterate pretty fast, move pretty fast. So we have our own Discord channel. You can just go up here and actually on the link, just click it and get into Discord. And then when you sign up, we actually have some verified channels where you can provide some feedback and some different things. So feel free to reach out into the Discord channel if you have any questions or feedback or anything like that. We'd love to have you.
Wonderful. Thanks, Troy.
So,
appreciate it.
Yeah, well, no, I appreciate you. I'll stop sharing here.
All right, everybody. Sounds good. And I will see everybody tomorrow.